Welcome to our channel. Today, I want to tell you a story that changed the world. It is not just a religious story. It is a story about love, courage, pain, and hope. More than 2,000 years ago, in a small town called Nazareth, there lived a young girl named Mary. She was simple and kind. She was engaged to a carpenter named Joseph. One day, an angel named Gabriel appeared to Mary and told her she would have a baby named Jesus who would bring hope to the world. Mary was surprised and afraid, but she trusted God and accepted this message. When Joseph heard about the baby, he was confused at first, but an angel appeared to him in a dream and told him not to be afraid. So Joseph stayed with Mary and protected her. Around that time, the Roman government ordered everyone to travel to their hometown for a census. Joseph had to go to Bethlehem, so he and Mary made a long and difficult journey. When they arrived, the town was full and there was no room for them to stay. Finally, they found a small place where animals were kept. That night, Jesus was born. He was not born in a palace or a rich home, but in a simple stable. Mary wrapped him in cloth and placed him in a manger. Nearby, shepherds were watching their sheep when angels appeared in the sky and told them that a Savior had been born. The shepherds hurried to see the baby and were filled with joy. Far away, wise men saw a bright star and followed it until they found Jesus. They brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. However, not everyone was happy about Jesus' birth. King Herod became afraid when he heard about a new king being born. He wanted to protect his power and planned to harm a child. An angel warned Joseph in a dream, telling him to take Mary and Jesus to Egypt. They left during the night and stayed there until Herod died. Later, they returned to Nazareth, where Jesus grew up. He lived a simple life, helping Joseph with carpentry and learning from Mary. When he was 12 years old, he visited Jerusalem with his parents. On the way home, they realized he was missing. After searching for 3 days, they found him in the temple speaking with teachers, who were amazed at his understanding. After this, Jesus returned home and lived quietly for many years, working, praying, and preparing for the time when his mission would begin. When Jesus was about 30 years old, he left his quiet life in Nazareth and went to the Jordan River. There, a man named John the Baptist was preaching to the people. John spoke boldly. He told people to change their hearts and turn away from sin. Crowds gathered around him every day. When Jesus came to John, he asked to be baptized. John was surprised and said, "I should be baptized by you." But Jesus insisted. So John baptized him in the river. As Jesus came out of the water, the sky seemed to open, and the Spirit of God came down like a dove. A voice from heaven said, "This is my beloved Son." It was the beginning of something powerful. After this moment, Jesus went into the wilderness alone for 40 days. He did not eat. He prayed and prepared himself. During this time, he faced temptation, but he stayed strong. When he returned, he began traveling from town to town, sharing a simple but powerful message. Love God, love others, forgive, and believe in good news. People were surprised by the way he spoke. He did not speak like the religious leaders. He spoke with authority, but also with kindness. Jesus began choosing disciples, ordinary men, fishermen like Peter, Andrew, James, and John, a tax collector named Matthew. They were not rich or powerful. They were simple people. Yet Jesus saw something in them. He told them, "Follow me," and they left everything behind. Together, they traveled through villages and cities. Everywhere Jesus went, crowds followed him. He healed the sick. Blind people began to see. The lame began to walk. He touched people that others avoided, the poor, the outcasts, the broken. He spoke to women and children with respect. He showed compassion to those who were rejected by society. People felt hope when they were near him. One day, thousands of people gathered to hear him speak. They had been listening for hours and had no food. The disciples were worried. But Jesus took 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, gave thanks, and shared it. The food multiplied. Everyone ate, and there was still food left over. The people were amazed. Another time, during a storm, Jesus' disciples were afraid their boat would sink. The waves were strong. The wind was loud. But Jesus stood up and spoke, "Peace, be still." Immediately, the storm stopped. The sea became calm. The disciples looked at each other in shock. Jesus also told stories called parables. These stories were simple but full of deep meaning. He spoke about a lost sheep, a forgiving father, and a good neighbor. Through these stories, he taught people about mercy, humility, and faith. Many common people loved him, but not everyone was happy. The religious leaders began to feel threatened. They did not like that people followed Jesus more than them. They questioned him, tried to trap him with hard questions, and watched his every move. They accused him of breaking rules, especially when he healed people on the Sabbath. But Jesus answered them with wisdom. He said that love and mercy were more important than strict rules. As time passed, the tension grew. The crowds became larger. Some believed he was the promised Savior. Others doubted him. The leaders feared losing their power and influence. They began planning in secret. Still, Jesus continued his mission. He did not run away. He did not hide. He knew his path would not be easy. Yet he kept teaching, healing, and loving people. And soon, he would enter Jerusalem for the final time. As Jesus entered Jerusalem, crowds welcomed him with excitement. They waved palm branches and shouted with joy. They believed he was the promised king. But Jesus did not enter like a powerful ruler. He rode on a simple donkey, showing humility and peace. The city was filled with celebration, yet danger was quietly growing in the background. The religious leaders had already decided they wanted him arrested. A few days later, Jesus shared a final meal with his disciples. This moment is often called the Last Supper. During the meal, he spoke about love, service, and sacrifice. He broke bread and shared a cup with them, telling them to remember him. The disciples did not fully understand what was about to happen. Jesus also told them that one of them would betray him. The room became silent and heavy with confusion and sadness. Later that night, Jesus went to a garden called Gethsemane to pray. He felt deep sorrow. He knew suffering was coming. He prayed quietly, asking for strength. His disciples tried to stay awake, but they were tired and afraid. Soon, soldiers arrived. Judas, one of the 12 disciples, had agreed to betray Jesus. He identified him with a kiss. Jesus was arrested and taken away. The religious leaders questioned him and accused him of claiming to be a king. They brought him before the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. Pilate did not find him guilty of any crime, but the crowd, influenced by the leaders, demanded punishment. Under pressure, Pilate allowed Jesus to be crucified. Jesus was beaten and forced to carry a wooden cross. People watched as he was led to a place called Golgotha. There, he was nailed to the cross between two criminals. Even while suffering, he prayed for those hurting him. Hours later, he cried out and then became silent. The sky grew dark. It seemed like hope itself had disappeared. His body was taken down and placed in a tomb. A large stone was rolled in front of it. Guards were placed outside. For his followers, everything felt lost. The one they believed in was gone. Fear and sadness filled their hearts. But the story did not end there. On the third day, early in the morning, women went to the tomb. They were shocked to find the stone rolled away. The tomb was empty. An angel told them, "He is not here. He has risen." At first, they were afraid. Then they ran to tell the others. Soon, Jesus appeared to his disciples. He showed them his hands and spoke peace to them. Their fear turned into courage. Their sadness turned into joy. They realized that death had not won. Hope was alive again. For 40 days, Jesus appeared to many people, teaching and encouraging them. Then he gave his disciples one final message: go into the world and share this good news with everyone. After that, he was taken up into heaven. His followers were no longer afraid. They began spreading his message of love, forgiveness, and hope. What started in a small town had now become a story that would travel across the world. And even today, more than 2,000 years later, this story continues to inspire millions. It reminds people that light can overcome darkness, that love is stronger than hate, and that hope can rise even after the darkest moment.